We are soldiers. We are soldiers prepared to fight. I'm joined here today by a room full of fearless leaders who, like me, felt outrage and great disappointment and concern at the draft opinion that was leaked last week that outlaws and bans Roe v. Wade and the right of abortion. I feel angry, but with each passing day, I feel determined and energized. Now, we all know that for the last 50 years, Roe v. Wade has paved the way for people in need of reproductive care to access safe abortions for themselves and, importantly, decide for themselves the circumstances under which they choose to bear children or not. The court's draft decision truly epitomizes the dangers that exist at the intersection of racism, sexism, and homophobia. And make no mistake, this is not and never has been just about abortion. We know that the extremists pushing this agenda, that one pillar of which is coming to fruition, understand that too. To be clear, this is driven by a faction of our country that will stop at nothing to gain power, and especially power over our bodies. That's what this is about. And we know that the impact of overruling Roe will fall disproportionately on women of color and poor women. Roe v. Wade never fully protected us. And that's important for people to also recognize, because for far too long, people of color living in poverty have always struggled to access and pay for good quality health care that they must need, how to get time off for work for the procedure and recovery time, and even how to get to a clinic to get these reproductive resources. And on top of that, they've had to weigh their safety in walking to a clinic in the first place. Soon after Roe v. Wade became the law of the land, we then saw the Hyde Amendment, named after Henry Hyde, a former congressperson from Illinois, which further restricted access to reproductive health care for poor individuals by prohibiting the use of federal dollars, namely Medicaid, to pay for abortion and other reproductive services. So over these last 50 years, class, race have continued to work against the most vulnerable women in our society. And the eventual Supreme Court decision to reverse Roe and Casey means that we must take action, which is precisely why we are here today. And as long as I am mayor, the city of Chicago will continue to take a comprehensive approach to reproductive justice, and I want to emphasize justice, to ensure equitable access that eliminates barriers with deep racist roots in our country. Because everyone has a right to have children or not to have children, and to raise children in an environment on their terms and on their schedule. What's important to note is that this draft opinion had offensive language signaling the dismantling of other fundamental rights protected and arising from the right to privacy. This means the decision would establish precedent for gutting the legal underpinnings used to protect against gender-based discrimination overall. This includes women's rights, trans rights, immigrant rights, and of course, the right to same-sex and interracial marriage. We simply cannot stand idly by and let that happen.